I'd like to share a couple things that God's been showing me lately. Our society runs on reason, logic, and natural understanding. I've noticed over my lifetime that when situations are negative, there's always some bright person that figures out a workaround. For example, when the stock market takes a major downturn, there's always some very smart guy looking at charts and graphs and comes up with the idea that if we just invest in this stock or that stock, it'll be a hedge against the downturn and will come out better than before it happened. Unfortunately, in this current pandemic, we don't know what it is, we have no solution for it, and all the human logic and reason available can't seem to come up with a workaround. I was reminded by the Holy Spirit of the Jews that Moses led out of Egypt. Egypt in the scriptures is a type of bondage of the flesh. God led them out of Egypt with all the gold, silver, and riches of Egypt. He led them into the wilderness where none of their riches would do them any good. You can't eat gold, silver, or precious jewels. They had no food. They had no water. They were completely dependent on God to provide their livelihood. In Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2, Moses said, "You shall remember all the way which the Lord your God has led you in the wilderness these 40 years, that he might humble you, testing you, to know what was in your heart, to know whether you would keep his commandments or not. And he humbled you, and he let you be hungry, and he fed you with manna that you did not know, nor did your fathers know, that he might make you understand that man does not live by bread alone, but man lives by everything that proceeds out of the mouth of the Lord. Your clothing did not wear out on you, nor did your foot swell these 40 years. Thus you are to know in your heart that the Lord your God was disciplining you just as a man disciplines his son." And in verse 16 it says, "In the wilderness he fed you with manna which your fathers did not know, that he might humble you, that he might test you to do you good in the end." Now God said, "I want to teach you only one thing, not two things, not 10 things, not a big volume of systematic theology, just one thing. You live by every word that I speak. You are ultimately and completely dependent on me for life." And we may say, "Oh yeah, I can see well that might be the case in the wilderness, but when we get to the promised land, that'll all be different." The promised land in the scriptures is the type of the presence of the Lord, of his kingdom. Look with me at Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 10. It says, "For the land into which you are entering to possess it is not like the land of Egypt from which you came, where you used to sow your seed and water it with foot pumps like a vegetable garden. But the land into which you are about to cross to possess it, it's a land of hills and valleys, and it drinks water from the rain of heaven. A land for which the Lord your God cares. The eyes of the Lord are always on it from the beginning even to the end of the year. And it shall come about, if you listen obediently to my commandments, which I am commanding you today, to love the Lord your God and serve him with all your heart and all your soul, that he may give you the rain for the land in its season, the early and the late rain, that you may gather in your grain and your new wine and your oil. And he will give grass in the fields for your cattle, and you shall eat and be satisfied." If you look through the book of Revelation, you notice there are some things that there are no need of. It says, you will have no need for light. This is in chapter 22, verse 5. And for the Lord shall be an everlasting light. And there's no need for a temple. This is chapter 22, verse 20, chapter 21, verse 22. Because the Lord shall be the temple. From the day we are born on this planet as sons of Adam and Eve, to the day that we are saved and redeemed into the family of God and are translated out of the kingdom of this world into the kingdom of his beloved Son, we are completely and utterly dependent on God to be our life. When there are thousands of options available to us, trusting God with our whole heart, our whole mind, and all of our strength seems unnecessary and even a bit foolish. But when there are no options or workarounds available, and our reason and logic are hopeless to find them, trusting God like little children trust their loving Father, it's the wisest and the best thing we could ever do. God bless you.